Yeah, hi everyone. I know it's been quite a while since I've posted a video on my channel, and the main reason for that probably is because I've got a Lumia 1020 video that's been in the works for a long time now. I returned, if you've been watching my channel and you're interested in the Windows phones, I returned two Lumia 1020s and decided to stick with my 920. Which is now over 2 years old, I think, and it's just been a brilliant phone. And I was very disappointed with the 1020, so I didn't stick with it. I want to finish that video still, because it's an important one to make. It says some important things about the phone, and I will get around to it. But time moves on, and if you watch my other videos, you will have seen I have, of course, had tablets for 10 years. I have an original tablet video up from way back. Then I bought an Asus VivoTab Windows 8.1 tablet, which was quite nice. It was an Atom-based tablet, but then I dropped it and broke it, and I couldn't fix it. So after that, just in case you were wondering what I did do, I bought this. It was a Surface, obviously, as some of you will know, and it was on special because Microsoft had just written down $1 billion worth of Surfaces or something when they put out the Surface 2 series, the Surface 2 and the Surface 2 Pro. They put the original RT on special, and these were very cheap. These were in New Zealand dollars $275, which is, you know, that's stuff all. That's less than any tablet. So I saw these come up. They sold out instantly, so I bought one straight away. I actually bought a couple, one for my wife as well, and she still uses hers, although she's sat on it since then and cracked the screen. Mine is still in nice condition. I bought the keyboard as well afterwards, so I'll just make a couple of comments about this. I do think this, I never considered getting the RT. I always thought if I get a Surface it would be the Pro. I bought it because it was cheap, and I realized from using the Asus that I didn't really need the desktop that much in a tablet for what I was using this for, just taking notes and using it in bed and watching, going to the cafe and doing emails and so on. That the Windows 8, the Metro part of Windows, the desktop, the Metro apps were perfectly sufficient for that, and I basically never used the desktop. Except for Office, but then this has Office on the desktop already, and it was included. I didn't even have to use my license for that, although I have one. And so I bought it, and I think this is the most underrated tablet out there. I think it's excellent. The biggest downside of the RT is the speed. This is the original NVIDIA Tegra 3 or something like that it's called, and it's just not fast enough. It's fine for, the UI is very responsive. The desktop works very well. There it is. Fire up an Office Word document. Oh, sorry, that was Outlook. No, I'm not using Outlook on this. I use the Metro app. So there's Word right there. Thought that was taking a while. So there's Word. Fire up a blank document. See, start typing away. I think it works really well. Nothing wrong with that at all. Where it's slow is in the certain things, like, especially, I suppose the slowest thing, the thing that bugs me the most is when I'm browsing and some pages, especially these days since web design has gone just mad on huge script frameworks and responsive frameworks. Websites that used to be 100 or 200 kilobytes are now 6 to 12 megabytes. It's insane. Also, they can fit it on a cell phone. I mean, they're delivering 10 megabyte responsive web pages to cell phones. Is just madness. So I don't buy into that at all. But that's typically what happens. The worst offenders, I think, are sites. This one hasn't. YouTube hasn't got a framework. Well, it has got a framework like that. But this site is just slow. So YouTube just takes forever. You could use a YouTube app, which will be a lot faster. But this is a site I watch stuff on YouTube and use the browser, and it's just slow. Look, it even says YouTube is not responding because IE thinks it's so slow that it's asking if I want to recover it. Well, it hasn't frozen. It's just taking time. So I think that's the worst thing. Once you've got the page loaded, it's actually not that bad. You know, you watch videos, they don't lag, they're fine. It's just slow. There we go. Here comes the video. Ta-da, ta-da. And it's playing an ad, of course. And that little button, this is why it's slow, is the little button for skipping the ads. It takes forever to come up, and then it just freezes on 2 or 3 seconds. And you have to wait for it to go past, and there we go. There's the skip ad. Gone. Okay. So that's probably, I think, the biggest problem. It doesn't affect the UI. It's very responsive. You know, see, that's Windows and IE working there. But interpreting the site and rendering the pages and so on is just slow. And so that bugs me. It has no trouble watching full screen video and all that. None of that's a problem. So that's my comment about the speed. In every other way, I find this this tablet actually extremely good. It's really high quality. It's thin and light, but of course, compared with an iPad Air today, it's actually heavy and chunky. But when it originally came out, it was actually very nice and svelte. It's a fingerprint magnet, which is a bit strange. I like the black, well, the darkish finish, this vapor rub. The kickstand, of course, is first class. You know, you go into a cafe, put it down like that, flip that out, and you're ready to go. That's fantastic. I often do that. I just flip it over on the back and use it like that. I also very often flip it around this side if I want to keep it off the table, and I could do that if I'm going to use it at a cafe without, you know, just for reading news. Oops, unlock. That's the camera. Actually, speed-wise here, that's another app that's very slow, is the News app. I use this all the time, and you sort of sit there and you wait while it updates, and you go, yawn, 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 it updates. Then it comes out. Once you're there, it's okay, but going back and forth between stories is slow. So anyone looking at one of these, it's good if you're prepared to put up with how slow it is. It's quite powerful. It does all kinds of things. It's just a bit slow. The new version, the Surface 2 RT, which they don't call an RT, fixes that. It's much quicker and much more capable. And so if you were getting an RT device, I'd get the Surface 2 RT. You know, I think they just call it Surface 2. That would be the better choice. And I see they've just discounted those as well now. So they're locally here, they're $3.99, which is really not much at all. And so, of course, these things cost a lot more, which is a pain. They haven't discounted these ever. They're still expensive. So that sucks a bit. The keyboard, I got this one. I didn't get the, this is what, the touch. I didn't get the type. I got the touch because this was meant to be small. I find on-screen keyboards perfectly good to type on, and this is basically like an on-screen keyboard. But it's just a bit better because you flip it out and you can use it, and it's quite nice. It's thin, provides good protection for the device. It immediately started coming apart here, and I've had this for 6 months or 8 months now, something like that, and I haven't glued it up yet. I need to glue it up. I just keep holding it so it doesn't tear off. I mean, it is really solid, the whole thing. It's not going to come apart. It's just at the seams where it's sealed. It's not very good. And this as well. See, look at that. There's the actual keyboard under there. You can pull all that off and see it. I mean, you could take this whole thing and go, and just pull it apart and see the whole insides. I'll glue that up. You know, I could take it back for a warranty, but I really don't. You know, I'm not fussed about that. That's no biggie. I mean, I use it every day. I carry it around every day, and it's actually served me very well. And of course, I like the way it all clips on there, and is really nice. I mean, it's very solid thing. The trackpad is useless. I mean, it works. You can use it, you know, but it's just all, you know, it's a touch screen device, and so you know, I use the screen all the time. So other things about this, the Wi-Fi works well, the sound is fine, it's a bit quiet. The webcams I don't use. I have used the Skype webcam. I can see there's a bunch of dust inside there, which probably makes the picture look terrible. App-wise, the Windows Store is full of apps. Obviously Windows 8.1 improved the whole experience. You get full Outlook on this, not just this app. But I do use this app because it's a bit more lightweight than Outlook, and I just want it to be, I like the Metro thing. I want to use this as a tablet. It's supposed to be Metro, and I use it like that, and it works really well. This whole thing about using apps on one side and doing something else on the other side, like say using IE over there, that's great. That all works perfectly well as well. I think that's good. I use that a lot. And again, in 8.1 they gave the opportunity to do that, make things smaller. Not all apps support a small layout, but the main ones are, I'll watch a video on the left hand side and play Scrabble over here, or AlphaJax. I'll do that quite a lot, and that works really well. So that's nice. And I like that movies and videos don't hold my attention sufficiently long that I want to just watch them and do nothing else. I always have to be reading or doing some work or doing something else in another window, and so this is vital. I couldn't do this on a tablet. That only gave me one thing to do at a time. That would drive me up the wall. And so the RT, of course, it's Windows 8.1 RT, gives you this facility, which is great. The screen itself, people complain about the low res. It's fine. It's perfectly good. It looks bright, and people I show it to say, oh, that's a nice, clear, sharp screen, because on first appearance it actually is. It looks nice and sharp and bright, but it's not super high res. It's whatever, 100 DPI or 120 or something like that. Not really sure. It's fine. What else can I say about this tablet other than that it's been very satisfying to use. I love OneNote, of course. That's my main thing. This is what I use for work all the time. Have all the stuff I do with work in that. See? That's great. What else do you want? Syncs with my phone and syncs with my desktop. Everything you do in OneNote is everywhere all the time. OneDrive, of course, is fantastic. And again, the Metro app is there. And bingo. You can go to OneDrive. There's my phone camera roll off my Lumia 920. You see, I never have to upload photos. They're all there. That's where everything is all the time. As soon as I take photos, they're up here. It's all so convenient, this sort of thing. And this is coming off the web. This is coming off OneDrive now. So that's really good. I like that. Music, I use the Xbox Music because that's on my phone, and I use that here a lot. So I listen to shows and do whatever on that. Read Reddit using Reddit to Go, which is so-so. I watch podcasts on this thing here, which I like. It's a bit laggy, that application there. And stocks, of course. We look at our stocks on this. And again, I'll have this running in another window while I'm doing something else over here. I've got nothing running. So you might have something running in the other window. So again, you can see how that works. But most of you are familiar with Windows 8 and 8.1 and how it works, all with the Metro thing. So I think this tablet is underrated. It's nice, does the job, easy to use. I don't know what else you can ask for except a faster one. And so in terms of speed, if you're happy enough with an RT device, then the RT2 would be great. That would do it all. But because there are the Pro models, see the Pro models of the Surface 1 Pro and the 2 Pro, I didn't like at all. They're just too fat. I just didn't really want to go that way with the tablet. I don't really like this screen format either. The the 16:9. I've never liked it. It's just, people are right when they complain about this layout doesn't look quite right. And I actually lock my screen in horizontal, in landscape mode, because I don't like it flipping all the time because it's a bit slow to change. So I just lock it in that mode, which you can do here. But if you flip it up this way, it's just a bit narrow. It's not like an A4. I've always wanted tablets. Tablets should be like an A4 sheet and a little bit larger. And so when Microsoft did the Surface Pro 3, I thought, well, bingo, they've nailed it. And thankfully they dropped the 8-inch version, the little tiny one, because I thought those were just a waste of time. I don't know why anyone wants them. And I mean, they're cool, they're fun gadgets to have a little tiny full Windows computer, a little Atom-based 8-inch computer. It's pretty cool. You know, you can take it overseas traveling with you, plug it into a keyboard and a monitor, and you've got a full-blown computer. You can do Photoshop on it and use Office and do whatever you want. But otherwise, as a tablet on their own, I don't think they're much use at all. They're just too small for anything. They're just a little media playback device. So I thought they should go upwards and make them bigger. Make a bigger device for artists, for photographers, for musicians even. You know, that's what they should do with the Pro 3. And so I'm going to wrap up this little comment here on this RT by going on to the next device, which I've just walked out of the shop with about an hour ago, and that made me do this video. We have Surface Pro 3. Now I'm not going to unbox this now. I'm going to do that tonight when it's a bit darker, because then you won't see my face reflecting in the screen all the time, which happens here during the day. And it's quite expensive. I bought the 256 gig i5 model. I'm highly wary of the heat and the fan noise issues. I've been following that very closely, deciding whether or not to buy this. I thought if I wait until they become available in the shops here, which was today, 28th of August, then maybe they will have sorted out some manufacturing issues. Turns out that the lot number is actually 1429, and the other one I looked at, the Core i7, was 1430. Those are the lot numbers that are being reported on the web as having issues. It's not confirmed whether it really is to do with lot numbers. My feeling is that there probably is a bit of manufacturing issues, where if things are not absolutely perfect, you know, the heatsink and everything, the case isn't set absolutely perfectly 100%, then it fails. Then the whole thing just doesn't quite work. I think the tolerances of temperature and heat dissipation, everything, and CPU speed and battery usage, everything is so tightly controlled. It's got such a narrow field of operation to work successfully in this, that if anything doesn't quite match up to what the specs were originally, the manufacturing specs, it probably fails. And so I think that's what's going on. I think Microsoft will be able to fix some things with software patches. This issue with the installer causing a lot of dramas, a lot of usage, you know, things like that could help. So I've taken a risk. I waited till it was available in the shops, because I can return it much more easily than if I purchased it, you know, online somewhere. I just want to be able to walk back in. I told the guy I bought it off that, you know, if this is noisy and overheats, I'm going to bring it back. And so he said, yep, no problem at all. So I'm going to do that. So I bought the Pro 3. I bought a black type cover, which is beautifully made. I had a look at that in the shop. It's pretty nice. It's very nicely done. So that's really cool. And I hope it stays really cool. I'll be looking at that a bit later tonight. And the other thing that's new is this iPad Air. Now this isn't mine. It's mine for use for some work I'm doing. So I need to I'm building an e-commerce backend for a distributor, and it needs to run on an iPad. And so these are what the reps are going to be using, and so I'm going to be using this for testing the website and building it and so on. And so I've got this Air, and I'm going to unbox it just for fun as well, and give you my opinion on this, because I don't have any Macs, and obviously I'm well familiar with computers and have been since the early 80s, and so including with Macs back then, you know. I still have an Apple Lisa downstairs, the original Apple with a GUI, and so it'll be interesting to see how I cope with this. Every time I've picked up an Apple device, I haven't found it in the slightest intuitive, as people always claim it is, but I'm willing to accept that that's because, you know, I've learned things one way. This, you know, so when you do that, you expect things to be one way, you know, and so if it's done differently, it's just different, you know, you just have to learn that. And so that of course is a valid point. So it'll be interesting to see how I cope with this. So we'll have a look at that a bit later as well. Hopefully it works out of the box and I don't have to charge it much to get going. So thanks for watching. Hope you made it through this. Hope I didn't and ah too much. I probably did. I'll notice that when I play this back. And just to summarize, RT, highly underrated and perfectly adequate device so long as you know what you're buying and what you're doing with it. Yeah, pretty good overall. Quite like that. So thanks again for watching. I think anyone who's watching probably is already subscribed. I promise I'll get the Lumia 1020 video out soon. And if you are new here and if you like long blathering videos, please subscribe and we'll catch you again soon. So thanks a lot. Bye-bye.